You can make a ton of money doing paid sponsorships, but what do you actually say when you pitch a brand? And how do you know who to contact? First, there's a big difference between a brand reaching out to you and you reaching out to them with a collaboration proposal. Why would that be? Well, there's a totally different dynamic at play and actually a power imbalance. When a brand reaches out to you, you know the brand wants to work with you, right? They know who you are. They probably already have a pretty good idea of what they want you to do for them. But when you're pitching them, they have no idea who you are. So your very first job is establishing credibility and helping them understand why they should care about your pitch. Look, at most brands, the person responsible for hiring influencers for paid campaigns has a lot of other job responsibilities. Yes, at bigger brands, more and more of them have dedicated influencer marketing managers. But at smaller brands, it might be the marketing manager or the digital strategist or the social media manager. So this email pops into their inbox. Maybe you're rattling on about how many followers you have, demographics of your audience, what brands you've partnered with. Right. But every creator says that. Right? Why are you different? And more importantly, why do you want to partner with their brand? How do they know you're not just looking for a quick payday and then you'll never talk to them again? The moment that they click on that link in your email, they need to understand within just a few seconds why you're such a great fit. Well, how would you do that? You might be wondering. Well, I teach something called the brand attraction audit, which helps you optimize your presence on social media. So it's instantly clear to a brand who you are, what type of content you create, and most importantly, what is the composition of your audience. One of the biggest mistakes that creators make when they pitch a brand is that they link them their main channel or their profile page. Do you think that the brand is going to sit there and watch 10 of your videos or scroll down your feed the last 100 posts? No, they're going to take one quick glance and then close the window. You're basically telling them, pick any piece of content you want, anyone you want, and just judge me on it. What if they decide to click on a post of yours that kind of sucked, right? I'm sure you have some content that you're more proud of than others. You're not doing yourself any favors there. Also, how does your page look? If you're a YouTuber, are you posting thumbnails and titles that seem controversial? Are you posting not so family-friendly pics on Instagram or foul-mouthed videos on TikTok? Do you think the brand wants to be associated with you and risk blowback or getting flamed on social media for partnering with you? These are things that the brand thinks about. So look at your social media presence with a very objective eye. And heck, just send it to a friend and say, hey, if you were the marketing manager of this dream brand of mine, would you partner with me? Why or why not? What should I change?
Just answer the damn questions.
And pro tip, you don't need a media kit to pitch a brand. The only credibility that you need is the amazing content that you create. But if you do have a media kit, please, please, please don't attach it to your pitch email, because these big brands, they all have firewalls that prevent inbound emails from unknown recipients that have attachments. Your media kit is probably a PDF, right? So unless they ask you for it after they respond to your pitch, you're better off leaving it out entirely. By the way, if you think your social media platforms need a facelift and need to do a brand attraction audit for yourself, check out my course, Gifted to Paid, where I go into extreme detail about all of this. I'll put a link in the description box or just go to giftedtopaid.com. Okay, so now that your channel or your platform is super optimized, we have to decide which brands do we want to reach out to. The most obvious answer is you just make a list of all the brands that you love and use. But that's not what I want to talk about, okay? The better thing to do would be to make a list of all the brands and products that your followers love. Do they mention certain brands in your comment sections? Well, boom, make a short list. And if they don't, ask them. Make a post on your YouTube community tab or your Instagram stories or on Twitter. What brands or products are you guys loving right now? This is one thing that's going to instantly set you apart from other creators, because what most people do is they just say, oh, I love your brand. I've been using it for 2 years. No, what you're going to say is it's actually your followers who've been talking about the brand a bunch. And by the way, the beauty of this is that even if you haven't tried the product, you want to now, right? Because your followers have been talking about it, and there are probably other followers in your audience who would be interested in it as well. The most important thing to remember is that the reason brands will pay you is because they want to access your audience who are potential customers of their brand. So if you can illustrate to them that you have your finger on the pulse of what your audience is interested in, well, guess what? You're speaking their language. Okay, so now that we have a targeted list of brands that we're gonna reach out to, we're just gonna DM them on Instagram or just, send a generic email to press@brand.com, right? No, you're not gonna do that. No. Look, I'm gonna take a quick pause right here and say that when I was starting out as a creator, this is exactly what I did. And the deceiving thing about this tactic is that sometimes they respond. But the reason this untargeted approach is so dangerous is because it's very easy to get burned out and feel that pitching brands is not worth your time because you're going to get a low response rate. And the reason you have a low response rate is because everyone else is doing the same thing. So investing the time into finding with near certainty the right contact at the brand who is responsible for paid influencer partnerships, you will massively increase your response rates to your pitches. One of the most important things to understand when trying to find the right contacts is that not all job titles are created equal.
Assistant to the regional manager.
Same thing.
No, it's not. It's lower.
Different sized companies are structured differently. So if you're trying to pitch, let's say Pantene, which is a Procter & Gamble brand, the marketing manager will have absolutely nothing to do with recruiting influencers for their next campaign. If you're targeting a smaller brand with, let's say, 30 employees, the marketing manager is probably exactly who you want to pitch. I actually have a whole week devoted just to pitching strategies in my Brand Deal Wizard course. I have a downloadable about the types of titles to target given the size of the company, the whole shebang. So if you're interested in learning when the next cohort starts, click the link down below or just go to branddealwizard.com. Now, let's talk about what to say in your pitches. Well, actually, let's first talk about what you're not going to say. Hey, my name is Justin and I love your brand. Would you be interested in collaborating? Let me know in the comments if you've ever sent a pitch like that. And this is a judgment-free zone. I have done that many times when I was first starting out. But guess what? That's what everyone else is saying too. Does that seem interesting in any way? Do you think the brand is going to invest the time to really study your page after getting a pitch like that? I mean, maybe. Here's the deal. When you send a pitch like that, what you're telling the brand is, hey, ball is in your court. Think up a collaboration idea and just let me know. Well, like we talked about, people are busy. Interfacing with creators like you is not their only job, so you have now added work to their plate. It's not their job to figure out how the brand can collaborate with you. It's your job, right? I teach a very specific pitching methodology in my course called the R.O.P.E method. R stands for relevant to a campaign that they're already working on. O stands for organic, meaning you can tie your pitch back to organic content that you've already posted. P is persistent, which means you're emailing regularly even if they don't respond. And E is easy to execute when they say yes. When you craft your pitches using this framework, your response rate is going to skyrocket. I guarantee it. Again, if you want to invest in your knowledge, check out my Brand Deal Wizard course. By the way, how do you convince brands that this is going to benefit them? I mean, especially if you don't have a ton of experience doing partnerships in the past. Well, the good news is that you don't have to. You let them tell you. What do I mean by that? Well, when you reach out with a cold pitch, the chances of them saying, wow, that sounds amazing, let's do it, and they offer no changes, no revisions to what you're proposing, well, that's extremely low. You need to send them something tangible that they can start to wrap their minds around and then let them tell you what they're actually looking for with a partnership. Because let's face it, you don't have a crystal ball. There's no way of knowing that they have a big initiative where they're, trying to tackle YouTube as an SEO tactic for the next year. So when you came in and pitched an Instagram collaboration, well, that's not that interesting to them right now. But the moment that they find out that you have a YouTube channel too, okay, well, now things are exciting. So the whole goal is hooking them first. And then you can start asking questions, doing your own research, understanding more about their marketing strategy. Whether you've had paid partnerships in the past is irrelevant. Brands want to feel that the work that you're going to do for them is high quality, authentic, and that it will win them new customers. So you can easily use organic content that you've created in the past that is representative of what you're capable of. Speaking of which, you need to be flexible. The vast majority of creators make this mistake, which is that they think that the only reason brands want to partner with them is to post content on their platforms, when in reality, there's a lot of other things that you can pitch. Maybe it's creating exclusive content that only lives on the brand's platforms. Maybe it's creating content that the brand can utilize for paid advertising. Maybe you notice that the content that they're posting on YouTube or TikTok really sucks, and you pitch a consulting engagement where you help them think through their social media strategy. Go into these conversations with an open mind and understand that you have a very unique skill set that not everyone does. Okay, but I'm gonna read your mind right now. You're thinking to yourself, okay, wow, this guy talks a lot. All I really care about is how much do I charge the brand? Well, this is a complex topic, and you can definitely watch this video right here about the factors to consider when pricing your sponsorships. And again, I have a whole week covering pricing strategy in my Brand Deal Wizard course. But one really important thing to always do is to ask the brand's budget. You'd be surprised that sometimes they'll just straight up tell you. And also, it's really critical to not be too hard on yourself when you're just starting out. If you've made some mistakes and you've priced yourself too low, that's okay. We live and learn. I definitely priced myself too low when I was starting out, but the most important thing, in my opinion, is to get some repetitions under your belt. Understand the dynamics of working with brands, understand the expectations on both sides, deliver a stellar product, and you will improve. One thing I've noticed is that a lot of beginner and aspiring creators get into this paralysis by analysis situation where they really don't know how much to charge, and so they don't approach brands at all. And I think that the most important thing you can do, other than subscribing to my channel, is just get started, even if that means you don't get paid a ton for your first few deals. You have to start somewhere, and you can always take courses and watch YouTube videos and improve your strategies and pricing down the line. And perhaps the most important aspect of pitching a brand for a paid sponsorship is to be confident. But Justin, how can I be confident if I don't have a lot of experience working with brands? Well, aside from getting the repetitions like I just mentioned, confidence can also come from within. Understanding that the knowledge and expertise that you have is valuable. The content that you create is valuable. The audience that you have nurtured is valuable. I don't care how many followers you have. I don't care if a brand has told you that you don't have enough followers. That's not a brand that you want to work with. I'm telling you right now that I believe in you. I believe in the content that you're creating. I believe the content that you create is changing lives and can help brands reach their ideal customers. The sooner that you start to believe it will be when you start landing your dream sponsorships.
I believe.
So look, we're not done. Watch this video where I talk about how to say pay me when you pitch brands first. You probably had this experience where you pitch the brand and they assume that you just wanted free product, right? But no, you don't work for free. So click this video for 3 simple ways to say, show me the money. Come on, show me the money.